In the previous video, we discussed about function definition, which describes what a function can do. But if you want to actually use this function in your code, you need to call it somewhere. To call a function, you can simply write its name followed by a list of arguments inside the parentheses. Now these arguments are called actual arguments, as these are the values which are actually sent to the called function. Now the actual arguments can be variables, constants, expressions, or any function call which returns a value. Now for example, these all four statements are valid function calls. In case there are no actual arguments in a function, we should still use an empty parenthesis. Now what happens when a function is called? So whenever a function call is encountered, a space is created for the formal parameters of the function in memory. Now the actual argument expressions are evaluated and the resulting values are assigned to the respective formal parameters. Now here there can be type mismatches between the actual argument and the formal parameter. If this is the case, default conversions will take place before the values are copied. After this, the code present in the function body will be executed and the function will terminate when a return statement is encountered. This is an example of a function which adds two numbers. So sum is a function which adds two numbers, which takes two formal parameters x and y. Now in the main function, whenever the first function call is encountered, the space will be created in the memory for the formal parameters x and y. These formal parameters will be initialized with the values 4 and 5, which are the actual arguments. When the sum function is executed, it turns the sum of 4 and 5, that is 9, and the value 9 is copied to the variable k. Now after the return statement, the function sum exits and the variables x, y, and s are destroyed, and the control is returned back to the main function. When the second function call is encountered, again the compiler will allocate some memory space for the formal parameters x and y, and now this time x and y will be initialized with the values 10 and 20. The function will return the sum of 10 and 20, that is 30, and that value will be assigned to the variable j. Any function which returns a value can be used like an operand in an expression anywhere in the program. Important thing to note here is that the code of a function will be executed whenever it is called by some other function. If a function is defined and it is never called anywhere, this function will never get executed. When a function is called, the formal parameters are automatically initialized with the values of the actual arguments. Any change made to the parameters inside the function do not affect the actual arguments. This mechanism of passing arguments is known as call by value. Now, whenever a function is called, the calling function needs some information about the called function. This is achieved by function declaration or function prototype. Note that if the definition of the called function is placed before the calling function, then the declaration is not needed. The function declaration informs the compiler about the three things. First is the name of the function. Second is the number and types of arguments received by the function and also their order. Third is the type of value which is returned by the function. The function declaration will tell the compiler in advance that a function with these features will be defined and used later. Now the syntax of a function declaration is as follows: return type, the function name, and in the parenthesis the type and the name of the arguments. The names of the parameters when you declare a function are optional. You can write the function declaration as follows: return type, function name, and a comma separated types. Function declaration should always be put before the function call. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have any questions or need further clarifications, feel free to drop a comment below. Do not forget to like and subscribe for more programming tutorials. Thanks for watching and happy coding!